8:43, welcome back to Breakfast Television on this Friday. Going to be a great weekend for bird watching. And without further ado, so pleased to welcome back Rob Butler, ornithologist and author, and David Bradley, VC Director of Bird Studies Canada. You guys are sporting some nice shirts. I will be wearing those along with you Sunday for the Great Canadian Birdathon. Huge event, happens nationwide. David, why don't you tell us what this is all about?
Sure. It's the oldest sponsored bird event in North America. It started in 1976.
Wow.
And it raises millions of dollars for early career researchers and for bird clubs around the continent, or around the country at least. And it's a great way to get people out, and it's a great way of promoting bird conservation throughout the country.
And Rob, if people aren't really fired up about bird watching and they're more casual when it comes to nature, why should we care about birds and about species preservation?
Well, it's as simple as this, that, spending time in nature is good for you. It's good for your health, and it's good for your kids' development, and all those sorts of things. So, you're getting all those kind of benefits. And birds is sort of the gateway to this, right? Yeah. Once you get into it, as you know, you get into birds, you really get into it. And then you spend more time in nature, and it's all good for you.
It's very holistic. David, talk to us about actually how the Birdathon works. People go out and they try to identify as many species in their respective area as they can?
Sure, it's a fun event. You go out and see as many bird species as you can. You tally them up, and it's not so much a competition to see who can see the most birds, but it's sort of a friendly competition between individuals. And the idea is you try and get donations made to your team, and then throughout the month of May you can compile a list, and then donations can be made throughout the year, which is nice. And the idea is just to get out birding. Yeah. And the idea is promoting bird watching amongst people.
And we encourage people to join us on Sunday. We're going to be at Jericho Beach and Stanley Park, and then at Trout Lake as well,
That's right, yeah.
Okay, now speaking of which, May is a fantastic time for local birding. I want to get each of your hot spots, so let's start with you, David. Where do you recommend to go right now?
Well, I like going to Queen Elizabeth Park, because it's such it's a hot spot. It's an island within the urban areas,
right.
And it's basically a high point as well, so a lot of migrating birds will be flying over, and they see the green spot there and they come down.
Yeah.
A great spot to see flycatchers, for example, and a great spot for warblers hanging out in the various trees around there. And so it really is a migrant trap, and so for that reason I like to go birding there. It's great.
Okay, Rob, you like the Burnaby area, right?
I like Burnaby Lake, yeah. I mean, just walking down here today, I could hear birds singing in the trees just outside the studio here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're migrating through, and Burnaby Lake's a great spot because, the Piper Avenue, there's a little walkway, and you can go out and the birds are right in front of you. You don't need to have binoculars.
Right.
So if you really want to get into it, that's the place to really get to, see them up close and start to identify them. It's a great spot.
Good for the novice and good for families too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is that where the mandarin duck is, too?
That's right, the mandarin duck.
Still hanging around?
Yeah, I was down there yesterday. I didn't see it.
No, okay.
No, but I think it's hiding. I think it's there.
Yeah, it's getting away from the crowds.
Yeah.
I love Colony Farm Regional Park in Port Coquitlam. There's not many places where you can just walk up to the place and see a Virginia rail and a Sora right away.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of pigeoning myself for people that don't know about those birds, but such diverse habitat, nice flat trails, and during May and the migration season, you go there like a couple times a week. You'll see different stuff every day, I find. So I love that spot. So those are our three picks. Also, Rob, I want to talk to you about your involvement with a new short documentary called Returning, which examines the Salish Sea, right?
Yeah, coming up next week is Bird Week, and part of Bird Week is to show our film. We have a new film called Returning. We went on a little journey around the Salish Sea for a couple of years, looking for people, trying to see if they're getting connected to nature. And that's the question is, we have so much nature around here, why are we not more closely connected to it? So I won't give away what the story is, but that's the film, and it's going to be shown on the 11th of May at the Anvil Theatre in New West, and then the next day, on the 12th of May, at Science World.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I urge people to check that out. And finally, David, just very quickly, in terms of Bird Studies Canada and their involvement, what does your group do to help preserve the future of birds in Canada?
Right, well, the Great Canadian Birdathon is a really good example of how we're trying to promote the conservation of birds in the future, is because this has been running since 1976. It's raised millions of dollars, and most of the funding goes towards local birding groups or towards specific projects. And so it's really launched the career of many early career researchers, such as university professors, students, NGOs, and government researchers have all gotten funding through the Bailey Birdathon. Okay. So it's really, really good for that.
Excellent. And we hope to see some viewers Sunday when we check out the birds.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, Jericho Beach.
8 o'clock sharp. Okay, if it was my dad there, it would be 5 o'clock. He likes the crack of dawn. Thanks, guys, and look.